watching Game Show Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Moore.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much. Welcome to our show. I am sure that all of us from time to time have wondered whether the things we dream at night mean anything, and if so, what? Well, our first contestant knows all about dreams, has made a study of them, and claims that we can not only remember our dreams, but learn about them, learn from them. We'll try to explain more about that after we have met our inexplicable panel here on To Tell the Truth.
Kitty Carlisle. Bill Cullen. Peggy Cass. And Tom Kennedy.
Does everybody dream? I go through long periods when I don't dream at all.
Yeah, me too. I dream a lot.
I'm on reruns right now.
I dream.
You dream one? Hold any personal dreams that you have, because I might get back to you, the one or two of you. We'll see. Let us now forge ahead and meet our expert on dreams.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Anne Faraday.
Number two.
My name is Anne Faraday.
Number three.
My name is Anne Faraday.
And of course, only one of them really is Anne Faraday. That's the way the show is played. And here is her sleepy time scenario. It says, I, Anne Faraday, am a psychotherapist. Flying in the face of the traditional Freudian interpretation of dreams, it is my contention that any intelligent person can gain greater self-knowledge by exploring his own dreams. You see, dreams bring us face to face with all sorts of hidden talents and potentialities. In my book titled Dream Power, I let you in on exactly how to remember, record, and interpret your dreams. You will immediately notice things you failed to observe when you were awake. You will become aware of how you really feel and may well discover the hidden source of your problems. Incidentally, all of us have dreams, whether we recall them or not. In fact, the average adult conjures up about 1,000 dreams a year. Signed, Dr. Anne Faraday. And while the three doctors settle in, we'll have a word from the clients and come right back and play games. Let's remember, we have three ladies here, all of them claiming to be Anne Faraday, Dr. Anne Faraday, an expert on dreams with a book to prove it. And let's start the question with Kitty Carlisle.
Oh, I'm fascinated by this spot. Thank you very much. Number two, as you know, in the Freudian interpretation of dreams, most things are symbolic, so you need an expert to help you sort it out, you know. An airplane is one thing and water is another thing. And so in your book, how do you interpret your own dreams for yourself?
Oh, well, I don't believe the same symbol means the same thing to everybody.
Ah.
Uh-huh.
I see.
I mean, if you dream of an umbrella, I dream of an umbrella. It means different things.
And number three, how does one find out what it means to me all by yourself?
By relating it to events in your own life.
I see. Now, number one, I always dream about things that happen during the day, and they're generally quite factual. How am I going to find my hidden source of power in that?
Well, then you have to examine it in the light of objective truth and figure out how you felt about that truth in the dream.
But I felt the same way I did when it happened in the daytime.
Very normal.
Very normal.
Yes.
Ah, what a pity. Number two, if you do find a hidden source of power that you didn't suspect, isn't that liable to upset your life?
Oh, not at all. I mean, you might find something marvelous, like a hidden talent. Oh. You know.
And that buzzer takes us to Bill Cullen.
Number three, unlike Kitty, I always dream about things that happen to me in the nighttime, and they're usually quite fanciful. Is there anything indicative there?
Probably because the only dreams you remember, unless you write them down, are the spectacular ones, the fanciful ones. Most of our dreams, though, are very ordinary.
Yeah, ordinary is a good word. Number one, you state in the affidavit that the average adult dreams about 1,000 dreams a year. I personally have difficulty ever remembering. If you ask me today what I dreamt last night, I have no idea. Why do I put that out of my mind? Or?
Yes, this is, again, a very customary thing for people to do. You have to write down or make some sort of note of what you've dreamed right after you've been awakened, because after 10 minutes it's gone.
Number two, even after I awaken, and I'm serious about this, even after I awaken, I try to recall what I had dreamt the night before, and I have difficulty recalling it. Is there something lacking in me? Or I know there is, but I mean, is there a reason for that?
Well, are you very busy in your life?
Not particularly.
Yes, he is.
Sakes.
Which life, my business or professional?
Are you more interested in outside things than internal things? Do you want to know your dreams?
Thank you for that.
I think Bill just got a very grateful buzzer.
Best
He just
buzzer I
doesn't know how
ever
to answer
had.
that. Let's go to Peggy.
Well, number one, if you wake up and reach with a pencil and a piece of paper and you write down the dream, you're not going to dream anymore that night because you're awakened and you won't go back to sleep again.
Oh, it depends, I would say. Most people can be awakened for 10 minutes or so, even think enough to write something down, and then drop off to sleep again. And it's in that period shortly after you drop off to sleep that you do your dreaming anyway.
Well, number three, how are you going to wake yourself up?
With an alarm clock.
But how are you going to know the alarm clock's going to go off when you're dreaming? Might go off when you just saw on wood.
Well, if you set it for intervals of 2 hours, you're going to catch a lot of dreams.
And you're going to lose a lot of sleep, baby. That's what I can tell you. Number one, who is Ernest Jones?
He's the biographer of Freud.
Thank you. Number two, do most people dream in color?
Yes. Yes, most people do dream in color.
Number three, what does it mean if you just dream in black and white, that you're an old-fashioned girl?
No, it just means you're dreaming in black and white, then. It means nothing special.
Oh, of course it means something. Everything means something. You can't dream in black and white, and if somebody dreams in color, obviously the color person is more with it.
Natalie Kalman.
Don't you think? Like
Maybe it's a
that
gray
pioneer.
dream. Maybe it's just a gray dream, and you're thinking
Honey,
of
I
things
never
that
dream
are...
gray dreams.
Bill, I often have the problem you did, but sometimes I remember them vividly. Last night, I dreamt about Raquel Welch. I would have had 2 dreams, but I fell asleep. Number three, can a person conjure up a dream? It says here, conjure up. Can you actually manufacture a dream? Can you make yourself dream about something is what I'm trying to ask.
Suggestions given to you shortly before sleep will often, not necessarily, but often come up in your dreams.
Uh-huh. Number one.
You don't need another scotch.
If you were to dream about an upcoming job, and I always dream about things like that, and it turns out to be a catastrophe, what does that really mean?
You mean you would dream of a catastrophe? Is that it?
That things don't go well.
Well, I think it could mean, depending upon the rest of your relation to this job, it could mean that you were afraid of not doing well, perhaps, and for that reason you had a negative response to the idea.
And then number two, you dealt with, Peggy dealt with color. I wanted to ask you, does color mean anything as opposed to dreaming in black and white? Does it mean anything if you dream in color?
Well, I would think that if something in your dream stands out in color, then it means something significant.
And does any particular color indicate anything?
Oh, I don't think so, unless it means something specific to you.
Number three, does any particular color mean anything?
I'm sorry, the bell means something. It means we can't ask any more questions. The audience now take another look while they're marking their ballots, and we'll decide whether it's number 1 or number 2 or number 3. You know we pay $50 for each wrong vote. We pay $500 if nobody comes up with the right answer. And Kitty Carlisle starts, please.
Well, they were all very good, but number 1 sounded very scientific to me, and number 2 said that everybody can dream in color. I don't believe that's true. I think most people dream in black and white. If Peggy dreams in Technicolor, it's very unusual, just like she is.
And so we've got a 1 showing. And Bill Cullen, what do you think?
I dream in sepia myself. I haven't arranged. Number 1 came up in a second with the answer about the biographer of Freud.
Freud, yeah.
Now, I don't even know if that's right, but she came up so fast with it and so with so much authority, she sold me. And I got to be right sooner or later.
You got a pair of 1s. And how are you going to go, Peg?
Well, I was going to go for number 2 because of those questions. She sounded a little like my old analyst. But I went for 1 because of Ernest Jones.
Oh, things are shaping up. We've got another limb foreman. We got 3 1s, and Tom
Number
Kennedy.
3 sounded, the way she fielded those questions,
Yeah.
she sounded like a professional psychotherapist. As a matter of fact, I thought, you know, cue the dream lady, because, you know, we're on the air and here's the answer to your problem. It was that authoritative, so I went with number 3.
All right, we've got votes on both ends and nothing in the middle, and here's the way we go. Will the real Dr. Ann Faraday please stand up?
It's 1.
Congratulations, lady.
She's thrilled.
Very good. You have just given our producer a nightmare. You cost him $500, and I'm thrilled. Number 1, what is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Joan Doyle, and I teach Civil War history at St. John's University here in New York.
And number 3, tell us about you.
I'm Linda Sensor, and I'm a housewife in Manhattan.
Peg, early in the show, you started to tell about a dream.
I did not.
Dr. Very early on, you said, I have one that, and then you stopped. Dr. Faraday, I would like to have Peggy tell you that dream. Is this a recurring dream?
I used to dream it a lot, not quite so much.
One dream that you have
Yeah.
frequently. Tell the good doctor about it, and we'll see if we can get it
Well,
analyzed.
I dream I was on top of a big high building, and I fall off, but instead of falling, boom, I sort of floated around, and I landed in a pine forest on the Needles. And then it was soft. For coming off the Empire State Building, it wasn't bad. And I would have all pine juice all over my face.
Pine juice.
Well, you know, from the, like, resin, like dye. That was in color. Otherwise, how would I know it was all brown stains on my face? Oh, I know it. I have to go to the loony bin, right? Oh, dear.
Does this mean anything aside from the fact that she drinks a lot?
Oh, I do not. Now, that's got to be stuff. I don't drink at
If
all.
that were true, I wouldn't have said it.
Oh,
Peg.
all right.
Yes. Doctor, what?
I would like to ask what pine needles mean to you.
I don't
You
know.
said they were nice and soft, but I would think they were hard and prickly. If I
Oh,
fell
no.
into...
Oh, no. When I was a kid, we used to have a lot of pine trees near our house, and we used to slide down them in boxes. They were fun. Pine needles are soft.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And do you smoke?
No, I don't.
Ah.
Out of luck, right?
Was the dream a nice feeling?
When I was falling down, but when I landed, it wasn't 100%.
Would you call it a bed of pine needles?
Yes.
Would you think of yourself as a fallen woman?
Oh, not then. That was when I was a kid.
I don't know whether that's the right answer, but on that note, we're going to quit. Thank you, Dr. Faraday, and thank you, imposters, very much for being with us on the Tell the Truth. You can't do anything but trouble today, Peggy. Well, let me say,
know, I'm
since
blushing.
this show started, we've had all kinds of champions on the show, but we've got one now that really takes the cake. He races buggies in the Florida swamps, and we'll wash him off and dry him out and bring him out here in about 2 minutes and a half or so. Now let's greet our racer of swamp buggies.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Leonard Chesser.
Number 2.
My name is Leonard Chesser.
Number 3.
My name is Leonard Chesser.
All right, all 3 of them say so. Only one of them's telling the truth. Here is Leonard's story. It says, I, Leonard Chesser, am the world's champion swamp buggy racer. The buggies are homemade and come in every style and shape imaginable. A first-rate swamp buggy operates as efficiently under the mud as on it. In fact, some drivers have disappeared for distressingly long periods of time. This annual run for the mud takes place in an Everglades bog in Florida. Now, since holes are placed in different sections of the course each year, skill and maneuverability are more important than speed. At one point in the race, a driver must stop his vehicle, step down through the mud and touch the bottom, if he can locate it, and then remount and get going. Without a doubt, this is the wildest, wackiest race in existence. The only contest known to man in which the winner cannot be determined until he has had a bath. And the affidavit is signed Leonard Chesser. There you go. And let's start the questioning with Tom Kennedy, please.
Well, the accents all qualify. They all sound like they could come from Florida. Those look like cars. Number 3, or those, what kind of propulsion do you have on your swamp buggy?
Propulsion, what you mean?
What makes it go? Is it a propeller on the back, or is it a motor, a combustible engine type motor, or what?
It's a motor.
A motor, like an automobile.
Right.
Number 2, I've been sweating out Walter Brennan for years. Is there really and truly such a thing as quicksand?
Yes, sir.
Number 1, have you ever encountered quicksand personally?
Yes, sir.
Number 3, have you ever encountered quicksand?
No, sir.
How about number 2? Have you ever encountered at that point where you have to get out of your vehicle and step into the... How about alligators? Any chance of running into one of those?
Well, there is in Florida, but not where we run this race.
All right, there goes the buzzer. We go down to Kitty.
Thank you. Number 1, I flew over the Everglades recently, and they're drying up. Is that not true?
Well, that's a report that we get on it, but actually they're not.
Well, I was there. They were.
Well, you were there during dry season. Rainy season starts in several months.
Oh, I see. And you do. And number 2, you do your buggy racing in the wet season.
We do it in October and February.
And is it raining then?
A little.
Number 3, what about the birds? Are they still there, the white heron and all that business?
Yes, ma'am.
And no alligators?
A few alligators.
Number 3, who invented the swamp buggy and for what purpose? I mean, number 2, I'm sorry, I'm looking at number 2.
Tommy Burke.
Who?
And Tommy Burke.
Yeah.
He works for Kittle Pontiac.
And what's the purpose of it?
Well, the guy's just, it was invented a long time, before my time.
I see.
The race has been in existence over 20 years, but...
And from Kitty, we go to Bill Cullen.
Number 3, how long does this race take to run? What's the running time?
Around the track, you mean?
Yeah.
I'd say around 2 minutes.
Number 1, I noticed in the picture that at least one of the racers, perhaps more than one, had 2 men riding in them. What's the purpose of the extra man?
Well, when they stop to let the driver get out and touch the ground, the other man will keep the accelerator pushed down and keep the motor going, and will actually assist in putting it in neutral. And when the driver gets back in the buggy and starts off, pushes the clutch in, the motor is running free. If it's allowed to sit, well, it will drown out usually. I mean, if they stop.
Well, what is this 2 or 4 wheel?
I'm sorry, Bill. Now we go to Peggy.
Number 3, how deep is the water on the course, just generally? Not counting the holes.
Generally about 2 foot, 2.5.
Thank you. Now, number 2, how deep are the holes that they dig for traps?
They vary from the deepest one that is about 6 feet, and anywhere from 0 to 6 feet.
Well, when you hit a 6-foot hole, how do you get up?
Well, you usually lose the race when you...
Yeah,
and the buggy and the driver. And
number 1, how much does one of these swamp buggies cost?
Well, it depends on the time and who does the labor. If you do it yourself, you can have as much as $3,500 in one. Depends on the motor that you're running, depends on the transmissions you have and things of that nature.
Thank you. Number 3, which town is this race course near? I mean, I saw stands there, so it must be people must get there some way.
Oh, it's in Naples.
Oh, near Naples, Florida. Thank you.
And there goes the bing bong. It is now voting time. Audience, and I'll take another peek around. We're looking at number 1. Take a peek at number 2. Another shot at number 3. And how would you vote if you were on the panel? Well, we'll find out what the panel has done. Yeah. Has everybody marked the number in?
I'm going with you, sir.
Let's start then with who? We start with Tom, I guess. Huh?
Yeah. Gary, you know something? Number 1 sounds about as authoritative as they come, but I'm going to go with number 3 because I was told there is no such thing as quicksand, and he's the only one who said there wasn't, or he hadn't. So I'm going to go with him on that.
All righty, we got a 3. And Kitty?
Well, I think it's number 3, and then I thought it was number 2 because he was very good about the race and about getting off and on and all that. And then I voted for number 1.
Shrewd thinking. We have a 1 and a 3, and Bill Cullen.
Well, number 1 gave me a good reason for the second occupant of the swamp buggy And I hate to jinx you, Kitty, but I voted for number 1, too.
Oh, we're both all wrong.
Yep.
And Peggy me.
Well, gee, I don't know about quicksand, but in Gentle Ben they had quicksand, and that was in the Everglades.
Movies.
That's TV. Number 2 is young and in condition, but they put him in there to fool me. I voted for number 1 because he said that the Everglades weren't drying up, and people who live there don't want that rumor to get around, even though a lot of people think they are drying up, honey.
All righty, it's 3 1s and a 3, and so will the real Leonard Chesser. Please stand up. Hoo-ha! Kennedy had it. Leonard, we'll get back to you in a second if we have time. Number 1, sir, what is your real name? What do you do?
My name is Doug Hendry. I'm sheriff of Collier County, Florida, and Naples.
Hey, good to have you, sir. Number 2, sir, tell us about yourself.
My name is Bill Sanderson, and I'm a full-time bartender at Wednesdays at 86th and 3rd Avenue, and a part-time actor.
Ah, there. And the definitive answer then, Leonard, is that there is no such thing as quicksand, huh?
Oh, I imagine there is. I just ain't never been in it.
Oh, so for the wrong reason, Tom Kennedy got you. There is quicksand, but you just haven't seen anything but slow sand.
Oh, he was wearing alligator shoes, is really the way.
Oh, well, thank you, Leonard, and thank you, imposters, too, for being with us on To Tell the Truth.
Because you want to keep their skin soft and smooth.
You're watching Game Show Network. Coming up, What's My Line, followed by the Newlywed Game. Then, Play Matchmaker with the Dating Game.
I somehow let the clock run us up against the wall. We can only say farewell. Fear not, all is well. We'll see you soon.
Our central characters today will receive a lovely dress from Sue Brett, the House of Many Moods. Sue Brett dresses and ensembles that create excitement and fit to perfection. Promotional consideration provided by Best Western Motels, the nation's largest chain of 1,200 fine owner-operated motels in 900 cities from coast to coast. This is Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman
On